First of all, name of Allah. Hi, in this CSS tutorial we will learn about CSS counter and nesting counter and list item counter. In body section we will use heading level 1 and close the heading level 1 heading. Nesting counter. This item. Underneath heading level 1 we will use heading level 2 and close the heading level 2. Apple heading level 2 and close the heading level 2. Underneath heading level 2 and close the heading level 2. Underneath heading level 2 we will use heading level 2 and close the heading level 2. Save the file, go to the browser and refresh the page. Now we will use the counter. In head section we will use internal CSS, open style tag and close the style tag. In between style tags we will use body, open curly braces and close curly braces. In between curly braces we will use CSS property and value, counter, reset, colon, section, semicolon. After that, underneath we will use heading 2, colon, before, property and property, value, counter increment, colon. CSS counter are like variables. The variable can be incremented by rules which will track how many times they are used. To work with CSS counter, we will use the properties in body section, then increments the counter value. After that, we will use content, colon, double quotes. After that, we will use counter and parentheses. In between parentheses we will use number and use semicolon. CSS counter are like variables. The variable can be incremented by rules which will track how many times they are used. To work with CSS counter, gap between double quotes use, and we can use negative value and create gap double quotes, and we can use plus symbol. Save the file, go to the browser and refresh the page. We can use instead colon and use in root's name. Save the file, go to the browser and refresh the page. Now we will learn about nesting counter. Underneath heading level 2 we will create heading level 3, open and close heading level 3 heading. Underneath heading level 3 we will copy and paste underneath heading level 3 and change heading level 4. Copy and use every heading to change into 4, paste paste heading level 4 and paste 4, copy and paste underneath heading level 4 and again once again paste underneath. Now we will use style CSS on 3 headings and 3 items. Underneath, first we use comment after heading level 2, exclamation mark and negative 4 times, close, and between negatives we will use heading comment, nesting, counter, and this comment does not appear on the web browser page. Now we will use style CSS command / use static and nesting counter and close the comment. Underneath comment we will use body selector, open curly braces and close curly braces. In between curly braces we will use CSS property and property value, control reset, colon, counting, semicolon. Underneath body we will use heading level 3, open curly braces and close curly braces. In between curly braces we will use counter reset property and colon, use sub counting and semicolon. Go to the browser and refresh the page. As you can see, we used heading level 3 and counter reset. It's not create count 1 2 3. Now we will use the underneath heading level 3 we will use heading level 3 colon 2 times, and before open curly braces and close curly braces. In between curly braces we will use counter increment, colon, 1 counter for the page counting and 1 counter for each heading 3 element sub counter counting. The counting counter will be counted for each heading 3 elements with the counting value of the counting counter and the sub counting counter will be count for each heading level 4. After colon we will use counting semicolon. Underneath counting we will use the content colon double quotes use. After that we will use counter parentheses use. In between parentheses we will use counting and use double quotes and semicolon. Save the file, go to the browser and refresh the page. You can see we use the heading level 3 counter reset sub counting and heading level 3 colon before counter increment count, and every heading level 3 count which we used in after CSS counter 1 2 3 which we used in body section. Now we will use the content heading. Save the file and go to the browser and refresh the page. Heading 1 fruit basket, heading 2 fruits basket, and heading 3 fruit basket. We will use the heading level 4 use style CSS on heading level 4 which we used in body section. In head section we will use internal CSS heading level 4 and colon before open curly braces and close curly braces. In between curly braces we will use counter increment colon and we will use sub counting, semicolon. Underneath we will use content, colon, double quotes, and use full stop, and after that we will use counter, and parentheses use, in between parentheses we will use subcounting, and after that we will use double quotes, in between double quotes we will use semicolon. This heading level 4 used for all heading level 4s which we used in body section after CSS counter. Go to the browser and refresh the page. Save the file first. Go to the browser and refresh the page. Parentheses, counting, and double quotes use, and use. Save the file, go to the browser and refresh the page. As you can see, heading level 1, heading level 2, and heading level 3, and use 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 2, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4. We will learn about list items. Underneath heading level 4, we will use comment, exclamation mark, negative, use, and list items. Underneath heading level 1, we will use OL tag and copy 3 times, and underneath OL tag we will use close the OL tag. Underneath OL and close the order list, close. In between OL we will use items, copy, paste into order list, and change its tag li and close li. Remove last tag, close tag, and copy and paste other OL order list and paste other OL. Underneath OL, close the list tag, and underneath paste items. After that, close OL, LL, and underneath paste items. Underneath OL, close the new items and close item. Now we will use style for all items. Save the file, go to the browser and refresh the page. Scroll down. As you can see, we use the list items. Now we will use style for it. Underneath heading level 4, we will use open curly braces and close curly braces. In between curly braces, we will use counter, colon, counter, reset, colon, and numbering, semicolon. Underneath we will use list style item, list style type, colon, none, semicolon. Save the file, go to the browser and refresh the page. As you can see, we used a list style type none, and all list has been gone. Underneath we will use li, colon colon before open curly braces and close curly braces. In between curly braces we will use counter, increment, colon, numbering, semicolon. Underneath we will use content, colon, counter, parentheses. In between parentheses we will use numbering and comma, double quotes. After that we will use double quotes and semicolon. Use semicolon, save the file, go to the browser and refresh the page. Open Notepad++ and use counters as save the file and go to the browser and refresh the page. As you can see, we use the counters as 1, 2, 3, 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, and as it is going on 5, 6, 7, 8, 8.1, and scroll down. We can use comment, list, items, and close the comment, static use and forward slash use. This command does not appear on the web page. A counter can also be useful to make outlined list because a new instance of a counter is automatically created in child elements. Here we use a counter function to insert a string between different level of nested counters.